Hi, my name is Megan Coleman and I am a Jamberry independent consultant. I hope you like my video. At the request of my mom, I am going to show everyone the techniques that I use to do my nails. First of all, I want to talk about real quick your nail prep. You want to use something like a dish Dawn detergent to get all the oils off of your cuticles. You also want to get those cuticles pushed back. And for those of you who have hidden cuticles, I have them, they're invisible or hidden cuticles. When you push them back, you're going to see some that just won't come off. Sometimes you need to buff your nails to get them off after you push them back. If you can see, my nails have a little bit of a milky look to them. I use the Jamberry smoothing base coat. I have ridges, I have hidden, aka invisible cuticles, and this has made it much easier. Now I just push my cuticles back and I put a thin coat of this base coat on, and it evens out my nails for a much smoother surface. You can even see my ridges even through it, but this makes a very big difference for me. And for those of you who have really delicate nails, I feel like I have delicate nails as well. They also have a strengthening base coat, and either one of these is a great buffer to use between your nail and the adhesive. If they're not as strong as others, it might help protect your nail a little bit. So my nails are already prepped, cuticles pushed back, cleaned with an alcohol wipe, and I have my base coat on. And everybody does it a little bit different. I like to get all of my wraps ready to go in order. I have everything ready. I have my scissors, I have an orange stick, my file, my cuticle pusher. I like the rubber one. It helps smooth. You can use your finger, you can use this. This really helps get around the cuticle. And my lovely plastic bag and my Jamberry heater. So let me get my heater going. And I'm going to be showing you guys the cold application. This has become one of my favorites. I feel like I can place it on my nail a little easier than when it's warm. So I'm going to be using the cold application, and I'm going to be using the pull and stretch method along with the baggie method. These three things have made a world of difference for me. So I'm going to get started. I basically use the orange stick to peel up the wrap. And if you have any issues with sizing before I get started, it's great. You just take these, put them on your nail, and figure out what size you need. I am lucky. Mine basically fit each nail. I really don't have to do a lot of trimming. My thumb, however, it's pretty square. So all I do is just square off that round tip. Most people don't have that round of a thumb. If you can see, it's pretty square. And if you do have nails that don't fit a lot of the sizes, I encourage you to find the tape method. You basically put a piece of tape over every finger that you need a better sizing for, and you're going to trace around your cuticle, and then you take that piece of tape and put it on the back here because it's clear, and you just cut out, and it will be perfect for your nail. It'll fit perfectly. So now we can get started. I wanted to cover that because it's a great little trick. Now, yes, you do not want to touch the back of your wrap. However, I do, only because I am going to grab the part that you basically are going to be cutting off. So I peel it off with my orange stick, get my finger under there, and peel it off. Now is the placement part. And again, this is the cold method, so I am not warming this up first. So do my best here to show you on camera here, if I can get a good angle and see what I'm doing. I'm going to put it there. And if you do use a base coat, when you put it on, absolutely do not try and move it. So I have it stuck on there. It's not perfect, but now is time for me to basically heat it. So I'm going to zoom this out a little bit, get my warmer over here. I'm going to stick it under there. Heat is your friend. You don't want to be shy. Use as much heat as you can. These are heat activated, so don't be afraid to use some heat. All right, so now I'm gonna go down the middle. I'm gonna work my ways out to the sides. And again, you can use your other thumb, fingers, you can use an orange stick or your cuticle pusher, whatever you feel most comfortable with or that does the best job to smooth these out for you. And if you ever have a little bit overlapping onto your skin, obviously we don't want that. We want it on the nail. What I have found and kind of saved from myself from having to redo, if you really push that cuticle deep down in there and get it underneath, you really don't have to start over. As long as you can get it pushed under the cuticle, you will be good to go. So I'm gonna heat it one more time and I'm gonna show you why. Once it gets soft and pliable, this is the pull and stretch. If you have any bubbles, any puckering, any wrinkling, this thing is gonna need to be super soft. So let me get it really soft so I can show you guys how to do it. So if you just tug on it and stretch that wrap out, they're really durable. In a downward position, just stretch it out. You can see that I really pulled it and kind of misshaped it, but I am pulling that thing down around my nail, and it makes a huge difference. If you have any bubbles or puckering, any wrinkles, it's gonna be great. And the next part is the baggy part. I'm going to trim my nail wrap excess, but I'm going to leave a little bit and I'll show you why. So look at that, you can see I just have a little bit there, not a whole lot. See there? So we are gonna take your Ziploc bag, plastic bag, and I basically have the excess rolled onto the tip of my nail, and I have a very tight seal here. I'm gonna hold it really tight and then I'm gonna heat it. And you're gonna get all that heat onto the base of your nail bed. You're gonna turn it so it gets on the tip of your nail as well. Pretty much as much heat as you can take. You can't really go wrong. And then you're gonna smooth it, go across the tip of the nail, smooth it. And rather than filing this right now, I'm gonna go on to the next. You can see it's really, really around the tip of my nail. And I'm just gonna let that cool. You always wanna let them cool before you file them off. They do shrink up a little bit as well, so it's great to let them do their shrinking and cooling off. I'm going to go to my next finger and just kind of show you guys and talk about the process as I go. Again, orange stick, and yes, I am gonna touch it, but I'm touching the part that I'm going to cut off. As you can see, I'm not touching the part that's gonna go on my finger at all. And next, I will show you again the cold application. Stick it right on your finger. I'm trying to show you guys and see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to smooth it on. I'm not gonna do a lot of smoothing. There are some bubbles and some puckers in there. But that's because it's not warm. So don't worry about that. Once you warm it up, it will smooth out. So, okay, time for me to stick it with the heater here. Make sure you guys can see that. Definitely getting warm. Now that it's hot, I'm gonna do the smoothing. And even now, I'm stretching it, doing that pull and stretch because I have some bubbles and puckers. I wanna pull those out. So you need to start pulling, getting your bubbles out as soon as you can. The sooner the better. So you can see I pulled it and I got bubbles and puckers. I'm gonna heat it up again so I can do some more smoothing because I see I have a little bit going on there. And I'm gonna press down. Pressure is your friend. And if you want to, I do like to sometimes take the cuticle pusher and really just give it a once over with a lot of pressure. And even the end's getting all goofy because I have so much excess there. You can see, kind of crazy. I'm going to trim that excess off. And do it one more time, make sure I get all the little bubbles out. I see I have a little one still. And this is the best part. You just really have to find the technique that works best for you. And I have found putting them on cold and stretched using the pull and stretch, and then using this baggie, again, wrap it around that tip. That excess gets wrapped around the tip of your finger. We're gonna heat it up, and it helps get it sealed on the tip again. Rub, 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 press in the tip of your finger, and it's wrapped around my nail so you can really see that we're sealing that tip. And we're gonna leave it there, we're gonna let it cool. Gonna go on to the next one. And once you get basically the method that works best for you figured out and you kind of get your groove and know how it goes, this really takes me about 10 minutes. So get this placed. So I stuck it on with not, you know, it's just barely on there. I'm just gonna smooth it down just a little bit. As you can see, I didn't really put it on there until I heated up. And you don't have to leave this much excess. I just cut my wraps in half and go. It's just easier. I don't really want to spend a lot of time trimming them, so it is a lot left that's hanging over the edge. I just kind of go with it. I like to leave it because when I'm doing this pulling and stretching, it's helpful. Sometimes I cut them too short and then I can't use my method as well. And you can see I've gotten buckles and bubbles out. I'm gonna go over it. Make sure it's not on the cuticle, push anything down. Looking good, okay. Now I'm gonna go and trim it off again. Just leaving a little bit extra there. Grab my baggie, wrap it around, get it nice and tight and smooth. We're gonna heat it up. Get that tip really warm. Press. Smooth around the tip. Okay, that one looks good. Go on to the next one, and it just shows you, it goes pretty quick. Now this is one of the ones I did have to trim a little bit. I have my index finger and my ring finger pretty much need the same size, so I do take one and trim it down just a tad. And that and my thumb, my little square thumb. So there's, got that off there. Gonna stick it on. Oh, and there's something stuck to it. That's not good. Anything underneath of it will affect how it sticks on your nail, so that's important too. That's why nail prep is pretty much key. If you don't prep your nails well, these things are not gonna work. Okay, it's stuck on there. We're gonna heat it again. This heater gets really hot really quick. So now I'm gonna do some smoothing, and I'm gonna start my pull and stretch. Pull it down. A downward motion helps get the edges of your nail on the sides, all around. Okay, now do my trimming. Time for the baggie. Wrap it around. Pull the tip really well around the front part tip of your nail. Get it nice and warm, smoothing, really putting pressure and rubbing that very tip of your nail. All right, I'm on my last one here. These things like to stick to you. Okay, let me get it placed on there. Okay, it's placed on. I just barely stuck it on. I'm just gonna rub it just a little bit. Not a big deal, like I said. This is the cold application, so you don't want to do too much rubbing because it's not heated yet. Let that heat activate it. Then you can start rubbing it and start the pull and stretch. And it really, if you pull a lot, you might notice it distorts the design just a little bit, so you will want to pay attention to that and be careful. It looks good, as you can see. Really pulled and stretched that thing out. Okay, gonna cut off the excess again. Use my handy dandy plastic bag and get it wrapped nice and tight. And get the heat on there. Get the tip going. Rub and get that all smooth. And we can turn our heater off because we're burning up at this point. Thing gets warm. Okay, so now we're ready to file. We've let this cool because it was the very first one that I did. And you're gonna remember, you're gonna file in a downward motion only. And I like to start on one side and work my way around. So when you start filing, it's kind of roll off your nail. Just keep going. And I'm not saying you have to be super aggressive, but if you just slightly, that's not gonna do it. You do have to put a little effort into it and just keep going and just work your way around the nail. And as you can see, it's kind of hanging off as I worked my way around. It's just hanging off there. And there's just a little bit left on there. And it came right off. And if you do have some corners, you can get under that edge and just smooth it a little bit. And afterwards, you can also take one of the buffing blocks and smooth that if it's a little rough. They also make glass files if you wanted to smooth it if it's a little rough. We'll go on to this one. I'm gonna start on one side, and as it starts to peel off, as you can see, I'll show you, it's just gonna start to come off. It just breaks away, and I'm just gonna, it's kind of hard to show you guys, I'm just gonna keep my 90-degree angle and just keep working around my nail. Just keep working around until it all comes off. And you don't want to ever peel it off, like there's just a tiny little bit hanging on there. If you pull it off, you can basically break the seal. So just remember, just make sure you file it off. Don't peel it off. And this one has a little bit hanging off there. Again, you can just kind of go at a downward angle, get that last little bit off. So that shows you guys they're all smooth. I won't wait and do all of them, but that's basically what I do. So just a little recap, this shows you the cold method with the pull and stretch and the baggie. And like I said, just get all of your stuff ready to go. You can find your own system, find out what works best for you, and it will be done in no time. Again, this takes me, after I have everything prepped and set out, about 10 minutes. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to help. And as always, I'm learning more and more techniques as I go. So I will keep posting more videos if I find any other must watch ideas out there. Thanks.